Meeting is called to order at 7:01 p.m. on May 13th, 2024. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Candace Machado.
Here.
Councilmember Daisha Edwards.
Here.
Councilmember Greg Lustig.
Here.
Councilmember Phil Burking.
Here.
Town Treasurer Lexi Erickson.
Here.
Chief of Police Mike Thompson.
Here.
Fire Chief Leo Molson.
Here.
Public Works Director Robert Llewellyn asked to be excused tonight. Town Clerk Janelle Underwood, rest of citizens.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll proceed forward with the meeting tonight. Do I have a motion to amend the agenda to add item number 1A, Councilman Gerke's announcement?
All motion?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Councilman, you have the floor.
I have the floor. Okay. As
Oh, hold on one second.
Oh.
No.
I take that back. Hold on
okay.
one second. It's okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move.
All second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Am I good?
Now.
Now I can go.
1A.
Okay.
Now you have the floor, sir.
As promised, this will be quick. And I'm going to just read this so I don't get long-winded. I wish to extend my thanks to the council and the town of Evansville to fulfill an item on my bucket list, which was to be a councilman. In order to attract more participation in the upcoming primary, I will not be running to extend my term as a councilman for the town of Evansville. I will, however, finish out the term I was appointed to in 2023. My entire life, I've been a fixer, builder, and innovator. I never understood the word can't. That being said, I've become extremely frustrated with the system and lack of movement. That frustration has turned into an unpleasant experience, not only for myself, but for other members of the council. And I think I can probably be of more use at that podium than as a council person. So that's it.
Thank you, Councilman Gerke.
I'd like to thank you too for all the work you have done and
Okay.
accomplished at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I look forward to seeing that.
All right.
Talk loudly in the mic.
Yeah.
Discuss it.
That's why we got the new mic. So
All right, we're proceeding forward to item 2, public hearing, intent to create local assessment district number 2024-01.
I'll just give a little background first before we open up the public hearing. So the LAD was originally discussed at the council meeting on February 12th, 2024. At that meeting, council made a motion at that time to proceed with the steps to form the LAD. The resolution of intent was approved by council on April 8th, 2024. Public advertisement of the resolution and intent was published in the Casper Star Tribune on April 25th, 2024. And mailings of the resolution and intent were mailed to all property owners within the district on April 19th, 2024. Letters of objection to the LAD were required to be submitted by May 10th, 2024. 2 letters of objection were received representing 17% of the area, 4 properties. So less than 50% of the area submitted letters of opposition to the LAD, so the LAD can proceed if council chooses. So the public hearing tonight is just to hear public comment for or against the LAD formation and prior to considering ordinance number 4-2024 on first reading tonight. So any questions I can answer before you open the public hearing?
I just had one real quick one. I think when you had talked before that they're going to actually make that road so it'll stand up to the truck traffic, right?
Yeah. It'll be
Okay.
fine.
I was pretty sure we covered that. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have none.
We'll open it up for public comments. If anyone has public comments, you're more than welcome to step up to the podium, state your name and who you're with.
Tim Coleman, I'm with myself.
Hi, Tim, how are you?
Good. Other than just the initial shock of the cost of the project that I object to, there are several other things. I got this certified mail in my box at home. Now they do certified mail differently than they used to. The return receipt where you sign for it had been ripped off by supposedly my postal carrier. I never signed it. I talked to several of the members of the industrial park about this. I think Mr. Newmiller and I are the only ones who submitted written objections. I was told that another person had submitted an objection, but it's not here. I talked to Tiffany about the project and her goals, and so a couple of problems. The mailing is the first thing. I'm sure that Halliburton doesn't read the Casper Star Tribune when their mailing goes to Duncan, Oklahoma. The lady I talked to in Duncan, Oklahoma sent me to a guy she thought that could help me, and he was in Little Rock, Arkansas, and he said he had no idea why she sent me there. So I ended up talking to the guy who runs the United States real estate department for Halliburton out of Houston. And he has a team of people that he referred it to. And we corresponded back and forth, but the team was unable to respond in time. So I don't know what Halliburton thinks about it, but they're the second biggest landowner out there. And maybe we should see what they think. I'd like to talk to is Shane Porter in the audience? Right here. Don Davis was a friend of mine. When he told me that your company, which he was a part of back then, would charge me 10% of any construction cost for engineering anything I did on my 40 acres east of there, I immediately scrapped the project. So I'm curious. I don't know about how much engineering goes into something like this, but the breakdown shows $186,000 worth of engineering and another amount the same size as a cushion. And there's many questions. I mean, if I went out to buy a road, I don't know where I'd start, but I guess I'd start here. This is where I'm starting. It looks way too expensive to me. A few years ago, I was offered the opportunity to pay for the paving on a partial paving they did from the end of the Halliburton's fence past Blakeman to Newmiller's fence on Nugget, and I understood at the time that the Tiffany participated in funding that, as well as Newmiller and Blakeman. I passed on my opportunity to pave that other leg for $70,000. But here it comes again. But the moral of that story is that nice road that was put in there, I don't know if it meets spec or not, but it's a nice road, and it would be a shame that all the money they spent on that is for naught, gets ripped up and scrapped. So they're just a there's just a lot of things about this that are troubling. Beginning with the communication end of it. I'm betting that there are few of these certified mail receipts that made it back where they were shipped from with signatures on them. But that's just a guess. If mine has a signature on it, I didn't do it. That's all I've got.
Mr. Porter, do you have any thoughts?
Well, might turn some of it over to Trevor if we need to address, but the communications protocols are set through state statute on how the notifications are done. We did receive mailings back on the little card back on the certified letters for everyone except for the New Miller family. There were 3 of those, and we didn't get those back, and I don't know why, if they didn't receive it or what. I'm not sure on Mr. Coleman's. I'd have to go look and see who signed it. I think there is a signature on it, but I don't even know what it said. I didn't look, so it came back. That's all I know. So,
Could we double check on that?
yeah, I can check on that card. As far as the costs, I mean, we are looking at, right now it's still preliminary and conceptual, so there is no real design done. We did estimate trying to save as much of that road as we could if it was in good shape and if it, met standards in order to hold up to the heavy truck traffic. So we did assume some of it could remain. The costs probably are on the conservative side. We're required to, as you go through the LAD process, if the final costs come in, I think 10% greater than the estimate, then it dies. And so you're kind of forced to project out a couple of years to what those costs might be. So that could be why they seem a little high, but construction costs have risen, I don't even know what percentage the last 2-3 years, but substantially. And so some of that's in the estimate.
Question for you. So who signed Halliburton's? Do you have any idea?
No, I don't, Phil. I got the card back and I put it in a file. I didn't look at the
Okay,
signature.
because it'd be nice to know, maybe. I don't know. Okay, just out of
Sitting
curiosity.
on my desk, right?
Okay, yeah, I understand.
Tiffany Gamble with Pat 6 Trauma Center and Dorset County Properties. Sorry, public speaking is not my forte. I just so everyone knows, I did try to contact every property owner. I did go out to Tim Coleman's shop, but he wasn't there and he doesn't normally work there. But I did send him an email and I did talk to every other property owner. And it was almost 2 years ago when we started this process. So I get like time lapse happens and people, forget what's going on and don't know if we're going to proceed with it or not. So I did my best to try to give everyone at least a heads up that this was potentially coming. I still feel that this is the best long-term solution for the area. Otherwise, we have no other solution, not even short-term. But I don't want a short-term solution. I want something that's going to be upkept for generations to come. That's kind of my goal with doing this and improving the general area as well. And I would just like to say that I would like to stay as involved in the process if this does get approved so that I can do whatever I can do to help reduce costs. So if it is working with engineering or whoever, I don't know how it works, I can call and try to get more bids coming in. I will do everything I can to get the highest quality with the lowest price. And I will stay involved to help do that. Any other questions? Thank you very much for your consideration.
Do I have any other public comments? Sir, come on up.
I'm Wayne Newmiller, and we had, I think Tiffany come by a couple of years ago and talked us into paving Nugget Road down to our building. And we went ahead and put that road in. We shared it with Tiffany's group, the Blakeman group, and ourselves, and we put in $30,000 or $40,000 in this road that was supposed to last a long time. Now we're talking about tearing it up and doing it all over again. That's why we're opposing this assessment or whatever you want to call it. So we think our road's good enough and we don't see any reason for moving forward with anything else. Thanks.
Thank you. Any additional public comments? Public comments. Last call for public comments. Yes, sir.
Throw one more thing in.
Yep, come on up.
I don't know how all the roads are funded. I had this idea that property taxes funded roads. I don't know where I got that. It's just and schools. I thought property taxes funded schools as well. So I stopped down at the tax department and got the breakdown of what my property tax went to last year, which was a little enlightening. So, and I thought that the town that you were in got a portion of that. And I believe Evansville gets about 11% of the property taxes that everybody in that industrial park pays. I don't know over the last 20 years what Evansville's portion has paid for. I do remember paying for 11 years for the water line improvement. We all got assessed for that under maybe a previous setup or something, but the water line got improved for a little under $1 million, I believe, and I remember paying for that in 11 annual installments for my portion. So it would be nice if the property taxes that the industrial park is putting in get some, we see them produce part of the road or all of the road, or I don't know what it takes to spend your property taxes on your own road. I'd be all for that. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm Bert Andreen with AHC Investments. We 7176 Nugget. We're on a gravel portion of the road, and this just seems to us like the clearest path forward to getting a share in the maintenance for the entire area. That obviously, when these roads and this subdivision was dedicated, there was a loophole almost in the way it was dedicated, so that the road maintenance was not dedicated to the town, which most subdivisions have happened. So we end up, trying to share that with the neighbors when we can, and it's just the clearest path forward for us to get everybody involved and then let the town take over the maintenance, because the end goal is not to just pay this big bill and have nice roads. The end goal is to allow the town to take over the ownership of these right of ways and to take over the maintenance of those right of ways, which was what we are most excited about, because snow removal, the gravel roads have to be graded several times a year. They go to crap pretty quickly, and it's a great idea, and it's a great method for us to do that. And so we support it because it's the only way that we're going to be able to get those roads paved with participation from the entire subdivision. So that's just my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional public comments? All right, public comments are closed at 7:20 p.m. All right, that will move us into number 3, ordinance number 4-2024, creation of local assessment district number 2024-01 on the first reading.
Madam Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is ordinance 4-2024. This is an ordinance ratifying all actions previously taken concerning Town of Evansville, Wyoming, Local Assessment District 2024-01, confirming the proceedings, ordering the construction of improvements therein, describing the improvements, directing town engineer to prepare plans and specifications, and fixing boundaries of the assessment district, providing for the publication of notice to contractors, ratifying action previously taken, and prescribing details in connection with said district. And this is brought before you tonight on first reading.
Do you have any questions or comments?
I got a few. Excuse me. I guess, first of all, my comment, I would really like to see those signature cards. So I think that is important. Hopefully they're valid signatures, and I know you got no way of knowing. I don't know, and I don't know if I'd know looking at them, but it would be nice to see who did sign them. But and I do understand the concern about the cost, but it also improves the value of the land, okay? And somehow, if you want to move forward with that out there because of the previous agreement, the way I understand it, that we would do no maintenance, we would take care of nothing out there, we merely annex the area. Is that correct? Am I saying that right? So this is a way to move forward. And I don't think any one entity, including the town, can afford to do that. So I think that part's a good deal. I do have a question or two about the maintenance. So when we're talking maintenance, are we talking about snow removal? Are we talking about, just general upkeep of the streets, like potholes and, any damage that's done to the street, that type of thing? I know as a citizen of Evansville, I pay my taxes too, by the way, but I don't get my road plowed every time it snows. So why would somebody else get theirs done unless it's a high traffic route like what we do now? Because I think probably Public Works has enough on their plate getting done what's being done. So I guess some of those items probably need to be addressed, and everybody that's having to put out the money needs to know exactly what's going to be done there. But in general, I guess I just kind of feel like it's a good deal, and I know it's expensive. I wish I could say it's cheaper, but I guarantee you one thing, waiting another year isn't going to make it cheaper. So it would have been nice if we could have done it 4 or 5 years ago when it all started, right? So, but we didn't, and we got to live with what we have. Okay, that's basically what I have.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I've a few comments here. I'd just like to see that project go forward with it. It's right now, the road is in bad repair right now. There's holes and there's chipping and there's cracks all over the place in front of the truck stop in Halliburton. And if we don't do it now, it will get more expensive. And what's our long-term plan here if we don't go ahead with it? I mean, leave it as it is. I'm not sure that's the right answer. So I'd like to see going forward with it. Of course, signature cards, we'd look into that. If we followed statute and everything else as far as notifications, it's due diligence is done, and would like to see move forward with it. Thank you.
I would like to say that that is a road that is frequent for us twice a day at least. That road is, and I can tell you I've almost lost a tie rod or a control arm in a certain pothole that Tiffany knows what I'm talking about. So I personally, because we do frequent that road at least full-time 6 months a year, I would really like to see a harder surface than just the gravel. I think it would be easier to maintain It is unfortunate that it is a significant cost. However, I think that in the future, moving forward after the work is done and the road is improved, I think that it's a minimal cost, if any, probably none. Just the regular maintenance that comes with having a harder road. But I think that over time, that those landowners, as well as the other people like myself who do frequent those roads, would really see the benefit in it and having that hard service and having it maintained then, therefore, by the town when an issue does come, so that the people out at the truck stop don't have to go around and contact each owner, hey, let's get this fixed. I think that it's would be hard on the front end, but overall, the long road, looking down the long road, that it potentially would honestly be better for each landowner and any person, whether it be one of the college buses, the semis that go through there, the big travel buses. It honestly would be easier for everyone, as well as the heavy equipment that goes in and out of that road. Thank you.
We also have 3 readings, correct?
Yeah,
We've got
this
3
is just the
readings.
first reading of 3.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I'd like to motion that we would, before the ordinance 4-2024 creation of local assessment district.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes on the first reading. All right. Number 4, Metro Animal Control update. So we just wanted to go ahead and give an update on where we're at as the town. We have chosen to move forward with moving the plans forward with building our own animal shelter here in Evansville. We're still working out all of the details and the specifics. We won't have those as of right now. We're still getting everything situated and together, which this is going to take continual time to work through on our end. But I know that Chief Thompson and Officer Nestor, that they have worked tirelessly in the last week to try to get us additional information regarding what this would look like for the town. Costs, supplies, building, construction. So we're still looking into all of the details with it, but we will continue to proceed to give people details as we go along. We are in the beginning stages of what this could potentially look like, but as we move forward, we'll continue to give the residents information as we go along. All right, number 5, discussion on Platt Park Road mailboxes. That was a tongue twister. Wow. Okay. Discussion on the mailboxes on Platt Park Road.
This is a project that Councilmember Gerke has been involved with, looking for different avenues, different options on how to have those mailboxes set up because of the parking area currently and the maintenance to it. I did post on the mailboxes that we would be holding discussion for tonight. I have not received any comments either way on it. So I'm just gonna
You just want me to just,
pass it
Oh.
on to you guys, yes.
Candace, Mary, would you like me to just kind of go over a couple of the options, or what do we want to do?
Yeah, that's fine to go over a couple
Okay.
of options so that we can discuss.
And first of all, I think we're very flexible. I think those of us that get our mail there know we need to do something because it's a muddy mess. Okay, so we just need to do something with it. There's a few different options out there. One of them is we could leave everything just the way that it is, do nothing. Okay, which I don't think is a very good idea personally. Another option would be to just put pavement where everything is now. Okay. Another option is to put all the mailboxes in one row, move the mailboxes back away from the street, and allow for parking in front of the mailboxes. The advantage to doing it from there is I've been out there several times, more than that probably, but in the wintertime, the ice and snow is melted away from the west side of the mailboxes. The concrete that is on the other side is still covered with ice. So by moving those back, the sun's still going to be able to hit on that side, and the snow and the ice will be removed a lot faster than it will be with the situation that we're in now. But I'm really flexible. There's to me, there's a lot of different ways we can do that. I just think doing nothing is probably not a very good option. But if anybody's got any better ideas or comments on how they think it should be done, I think we'd all love to hear them.
I do know that Chief Thompson had extensively looked at this after we had the work session not too long ago in the beginning of March regarding the mailboxes. Chief, did you find anything additional with the mailboxes so that we can get your take on it as well?
Biggest thing, I spent about 2 hours over there visiting with people coming and going, getting their mail. People I spoke with wanted it left the same outside of paving the rock portion of it. That was the consensus I got from them. I go out and patrol the community quite a bit myself, and looking at it from safety aspects, I don't want to see people necessarily parking on the street any more than we have to. Several of those folks echoed that they like pulling off the street. So I think having a little bit of both for those who want to park on the street, let them park there. But I visited with Robert, our public works director, a little bit. With it being paved, it makes it easier to clear the snow off of that. Similar to like parking lot here, it's quicker. So my opinion is to pave it at this point, unless other folks have different.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's really weird because I got the opposite in the people that I've talked to. And so I think, to be real honest about it, other than something needs to be done, I don't think people really, in my opinion, really care about how we do it, just so we do something. And I think that's the real general consensus. But I know I have talked to several people over the last year or so, and they just know something needs to be done. But I agree with the chief. I don't think parking out in the street is a real viable option. I know I do it because I'm not going to go up and get my car muddy and go through a whole bunch of holes and stuff. I just got done replacing my shocks and struts for $1,500, so I don't think I want to do that again. But I think that, it would be nice if we could just have all the mailboxes to me in one row, be able to park up off the street and be done with it. And I do think that it should be something that we should contract out and bid out and go from there. I think to put that on Public Works to do that, they're going to have enough on their hands. If they maintain it, that's awesome. But I think it could get to be the type of project that's way too much. They got too much else going on in the summertime.
So let's say, for argument's sake, that we keep the mailboxes the way they are, but we go ahead and we completely pave the road for people to come up, drive in. Wouldn't that defeat the purpose of turning around mailboxes? If we pave the road, then people can just drive up in, and even if mailboxes are on one side or the other side, people are still getting their mail. Is that an accurate statement, or am I getting that wrong?
Seems like the issue mostly at hand is the potholes in the dirt area. Some of the folks I spoke with liked the way the boxes were because of the wind factor. The difficult part to a community is you can visit with everybody in the community and you're going to have a multiple of opinions and you can't please everybody. So finding the middle ground, I think, is the important part to resolving the solution or finding a solution to this issue right here. with it being paved, you can, Public Works can drop those snow blades. They're not going to get in the dirt. In 5 minutes, they can make that path through there when they're on Plaque Park. So I think the maintenance of it being paved is minimal compared to with it being gravel, where you're constantly having a pothole. And as we just had in that prior discussion about potholes in another road and fixing that stuff. So paving it would speed up and or minimize the maintenance, both in the same aspects. If we put them all on one side, somebody's going to be upset. We leave them where they're at, somebody's going to be upset. I think just paving it is that middle ground right now. Some people feel that they like being off the street and the safety factor of being up there. Where I know there's been some other opinions of people who felt that it's not safe up there. Again, I think that's a difference in who you are as a person and whether you feel safe or not. So I think finding that middle ground is going to be the hardest part of the decision you have to make.
I like that too. I like the idea of paving it. I just not sure which one is more cost effective. Would it be doing the asphalt or doing concrete and just brushing it for just a little bit of texture on there? I just think of in the summertime when it does heat up, the asphalt tends to heat up as well and make things more pliable or maybe able to move more versus concrete. But whichever, I think as long as we put some kind of hard surface in there, I think we do justice. Something better than the dirt.
Well, it seems like if we were just to go ahead and take care of that section of roadway for people to drive up on, instead of paving the road, moving the mailboxes, because Chief, you did bring up a solid point about the wind. Wind is unpredictable in Wyoming. We never know if it's going to be 10 miles an hour or 40, 50 miles an hour. So would everyone be in an agreement to look into the costs for paving that section, getting that section completely situated, but keeping the mailboxes where they're at, so we're not adding additional costs or additional time or energy?
One other thing. The deal with the wind, well, the mailboxes that are on the east side face the wind. So I guess I have a little trouble with that argument. But if we moved everything to one side, we could actually narrow up the part that we have to pave. It wouldn't have to be as wide as it is now. The other thing that we need to be sure and factor into the construction is we need to have a barrier where vehicles can't get up next to the mailboxes. We've already got one. The town of Evansville is responsible for those boxes, and we've already got one that's been hit. And when I had talked to the postmaster last fall or whatever, he did say that they had a couple replacement parts around, and he thought he could get us a new base for that one. But we do have to prevent people from getting their vehicles up next to the mailboxes. And I think that's one of the things that people like to be able to do, because they don't even want to bother getting out of their vehicle. They want to drive up next to it, lean out the window and get their mail. But I think we can't, it's just, because if they damage that, it's on us. And those are, when I looked at the pricing for those, they're like 15 grand a shot, so.
So how would we like to proceed forward?
I think we should probably get somebody, I don't know who, probably our illustrious engineer, to get a price for us on paving that area. I don't know. Whatever you all want to do.
So are we saying paving the area, or are we saying paving the area and moving the mailboxes?
If we got to move the mailboxes, we only have like 3 big ones and 1 small one to move. Okay, it's not like we got a whole bunch.
I say we just pave the area, maybe put in some of those.
The
big
bollards,
those
yeah,
things, and leave alone.
that's fine.
As
I-
long as it's still enough room for the plow to get in there. So it's not.
Yeah, and that's the other, I don't know.
The other consideration you have to keep in mind is ADA stuff. Just putting barriers where handicapped people, people in wheelchairs can't
Access their box.
Well, they just can't be that close together. And I know the mail people said that like the ones on 7th Street down there, they put the bollards too close to the mailboxes and they can't have the doors open and walk through. They got to walk around the bollards. So they need to be far enough away that same thing like what Chief's talking about, that you have to have room there for the wheelchairs to get between the mailboxes and the barriers. So, and that's why I think we just need to do it right. Whatever we do, I don't care. We just need to do it right. So we don't have this discussion, or you guys don't have this discussion in another couple of years.
Councilman Lustig, thoughts?
He was laughing at me.
Yeah, if we could entertain some bids as far as getting that paved, move forward with it. If wind is an issue, probably could explore a windbreak of fence panels or series thereof to remediate that. Yeah, going forward, I'd entertain some bids
To get the area paved?
to get it paved. Yeah.
Okay.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Motion passes.
All right, engineers report, Mr. Porter.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple more things tonight. So on the new park project, bids were received on the new park project on April 24th, 2024. We only received one bid and it was in the amount of $973,635.50. The total grant amount for the project is $1,068,566, of which we've spent about $69,000 to date on the design, the park design and the parking lot design. So this leaves a remaining balance of the grant of $999,826. So we've reviewed the bid. Our recommendation is to proceed with the one bid that we received. It's within the budget. I think there's, a lot of reasons why there was only one bid. It's a pretty complicated project with the amount of labor it's going to take to put it together and just kind of the timing on when the job went out to bid. At this time of the season, a lot of contractors are already booked up. So I have a feeling that that's the reason we only got one bid. We had a lot of interest. There were 13 different plan holders, so there was a lot of interest in the project, but only one bid. So with that, my recommendation is to proceed with the one bid. It was Installation and Services Company, ISCO. So I recommend tonight a notice of award for Installation and Services Company in the amount of their bid of $973,635.50.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
can I ask a question?
Yep.
Is this the park down, the new park we're putting in? Is that what this is? Is now this 975,000, they're furnishing all the labor?
There still is some volunteer component to that, but they're furnishing the majority of that labor. And they're furnishing the superintendent, the guy that designed the park, will be coming down to supervise the construction. But there still is a volunteer component to that.
How much?
And contractor, but it's probably 10, 15 people at various sites. For over about a 5 to 6 week period.
Okay. Just so you know, I got a problem with that, but I've got a problem with the whole project, so.
Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Can I vote? I vote nay.
Thank you.
And then the last thing I have tonight, I wasn't able to get into the packet when I sent it on Thursday. I did send it last night. Last week, after I'd submitted my engineer's packet, I got a pay request in from Crown Construction for the Lathrop Pathway project. So I'd like to present it tonight. I did send it to you, so hopefully you guys can take a look at it. But this is pay estimate number 1 on the Lathrop Road Pathway project. The pay request is for $81,076.50. Of that, we'll hold retainage of $4,053.83. So total amount due for pay estimate number one is $77,022.60. This is a TAP grant project, which is an 80-20, 88% grant, 20% match. So once the invoice is paid and the check is cleared, then I can submit for 80% reimbursement. So recommend a motion to pay Crown Construction for pay estimate number one in the amount of $77,022.67.
I have a motion.
I move.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, so we will begin the interviews for the vacant council seat. So how this will go tonight is we all have questions that have been pre-approved for each applicant. We will be starting with the applicants that have turned in their applications first, so on and so forth. So once an applicant comes up, please state your name, where you live in the town, and then we will go down the line and each council person will ask one question at a time. So Mr. Gerke will ask the first question, Mr. Lesvik, myself, and Miss Edwards, and then we'll go back through the questions. And if there's any additional thoughts or questions that arise, each council member will have to ask the same question to each applicant to make it fair and impartial. So with that being said, we have our first applicant, Alana. Hello, ma'am.
Hello. It's all the way up here. I'm short. I got to bring it down.
You're just fine.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Alana Vino. I live on Holmes Street. I would like to be considered for the vacant seat in Evansville. I love being an active community member in Evansville. I've lived in Evansville now for 9 years, and I've been running a successful small dog grooming business for the past 7. I have volunteered on our 100-year planning committee where we organized and planned our Evansville 100-year celebration. This was a full-year commitment of planning and organizing to make the celebration as wonderful as it was. I have been running the Evansville Community Garden for the past 3 years and have volunteered over 100 hours working in and on our community gardens. I am currently working on this year's community garden layout. This year we're not expanding, but next year we do plan on expanding 2 to 3 more beds of the original size of our raised beds. These are simple and easy to build, so there won't be a lot of cost and time on those. Each year we do plan on expanding 2 to 3 more boxes until eventually we will be one continuous garden between Copper Avenue and Veterans Drive. I'm excited to plant on June 1st at 8 a.m. I hope everyone comes. I am currently on the Evansville Elementary PTO, where we meet once a month to discuss fundraisers for the school and plan those upcoming events. Some of the things I would like to see us do as the Evansville community is Evansville recently received a grant to be doing, we'll be breaking soil soon on the Evansville Reshaw Park. I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be the name, but that's what I dubbed it, the Evansville Reshaw Park. I'm really excited I'm really excited for the park, and I'm excited that we're bringing in more people from the surrounding communities into Evansville. With that being said, I would love to expand on the idea, and I would love for us to build a big pavilion there where Evansville can host events. Public can rent it out for birthdays, family reunions, and potentially even a wedding venue. We learned so much about having our 100-year celebration down there. It is such a nice space down there, and I really think that we could utilize it to the best of the ability. I think moving forward, building our own animal shelter is definitely the best decision. I didn't like that we didn't have an equal voice when it came to doing the Metro Task Force, where even Evansville and Metro combine, or Evansville and Mills combined, we wouldn't have the same say as what Casper did. And I do like the fact that we are going to be having our own. We have an amazing animal control officer that has extensive knowledge in taking care of all animals. And I really feel that she will be massive benefit of doing this. I'm also a person that has quite a bit of knowledge when it comes to animals, that I would love to help on that project when it gets to that space, especially when it comes to dogs. I've been trained in that. That is what I do. I work with animals, knowing more proper procedures when it comes to health and benefits of them. I guess what it really boils down to is why rent a space from Casper when we can build our own and have it for our own community. I've been actively coming to council meetings for the past 6 years. For the past 4 years, we've been live streaming to YouTube. Mainly when we started was because of COVID. This has been a great way to help people stay informed of what's going on in the meetings, but unfortunately, our technology has not been up to par. Every single meeting, some people can't be heard, or nobody can be heard in general. Our last meeting, no one could hear anything. So I really think that we need to update our system. I do try to post on social media about our Evansville town council meetings, an effort to help with anybody else that is on social media know what is going on and what is current. I'm currently a wife to an amazing husband, a mom to a chill dog, a crazy puppy, and a couple crazy kids. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Miss Edwards, would you like to start us out with the first question, and then I'll take the second?
Sure. Why do you want to sit on town council, and what qualities do you have to contribute to the council?
I want to sit up there. It's one of those, I've been a very active member for quite a few years now, and I feel that with all of these new projects that are going on, that I can benefit in helping with my knowledge, especially when it comes to, even with this new building, with the building the new animal control building, of helping plan that out. I did construction for years. I know I'm not as knowledgeable about construction. I'm definitely way more knowledgeable when it comes to animals and how they need to be housed, and the proper plans, procedures of cleanliness, of different things like that are a big factor with it. Shot records and having to give shots, even things like that, of just being very knowledgeable on that. Of, I think those are big benefits that I can help with.
Second question, what does being on council mean to you? Describe in detail.
It's another voice for, it's just another, gives another person more of a voice. Being as active as I am already, it's just another stepping stone of another way of making my voice heard and being up there, making it matter a little bit more. Getting a little bit more say in it and vote in it.
What are your individual goals for council? Do you have a direction you would like to see the town move in?
I mean, I think always saying that moving the town forward is always a great, but I don't necessarily have a master plan. I'm currently already moving forward in the garden one. That was something that I've been working on for the past 3 years. Those were kind of my bigger ones as of right now. I didn't necessarily see a big one. I know a big issue has been with the fencing out on the highway. I would love to see that get taken down to make it a little bit nicer. I know that's been a big thing that Phil has been railroading and doing and pushing for, which I think is going to be a big benefit of getting that out and making that look a lot nicer.
Thank you.
My turn.
Yes.
You'll have to bear with me. That's how my print is, and that's how this one is.
Oh.
So, okay.
Glasses.
Do you plan on to run for council in the next election? Do you think you have any personal or professional relationship or relations that would become a conflict of interest while serving as a council person?
I do plan on running, especially if I get back on, or if I do get on, yes, I do plan on running. And I wouldn't see something that would be a conflict of interest. I do a lot of volunteer work, so I don't necessarily think because I volunteer would be any type of conflict. I mean, the only business that I run is my dog grooming business, and all my other things that I do is volunteer. So, I mean, to me, only way a conflict of interest is if you're getting paid for something, and I don't think the town's paying me to groom dogs.
Okay.
If we do get dogs that do come in that have been severely matted, Brandy has brought them to me, and I've done it free of charge. I haven't charged the town at all. I do that as my own, out of my own buck, kind of a thing. And so,
Good for you.
is that it?
Define what working as a team means to you.
Listening, respectfully listening to everyone's opinion, but yet standing firm in what you believe and not pandering for someone else's, what you think someone else should think of you. Stick to what you believe in.
I feel like you've already answered this question, but if there's anything else that comes to mind,
Okay.
describe your involvement with the town council in the last year.
In the last year, with council in general, or like in the meetings?
Both.
I guess it's pretty rare that I do miss a meeting, but if I do miss it, I always try to watch live. And I think that's super beneficial of having people be able to watch and do. I do work in the gardens already, but I mean, that's not necessarily council. I've ran the different garden meetings that we've had. I've ran those. But when you're sitting in the audience, yes, you guys do, if there is public comments, I do get up, and if I have questions, like I actually will get up tonight because I have questions about the road that is coming in and how that will work. But I feel getting up and asking questions is always a big deal.
What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated issues?
Well, I guess it would depend upon the controversy. If it's something that I believe is somebody can be controversial to one person, and to me, not so much. It takes a lot to get me riled up. And to me, it takes, I don't know, there's not a lot of, to me, that's not a controversially issue that two people, as long as you were respectful towards each other, you can have an amicable conversation and not be disrespectful towards each other.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want the community to know about you in consideration for being selected for town council?
I feel that my involvement in the community speaks for itself. I have been here, I've been volunteering, I've been a active community person that is actively still working on it. Even if I don't get on there, I'm still going to be working in it. I'm still going to be volunteering. I'm still going to be doing it. I just think that this would be another great way of having my voice heard and a say in the decisions that are made, even more than I am now.
I think you're done.
Okay, that's where I was like,
Thank God.
am I done? There's a lot. I feel like that was a lot more than last time. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
guys.
All right, we'll go ahead and move to our second applicant, Mr. Dale Sheldon.
I'm Dale Sheldon. I've lived here in Evansville about 13 years. I live at 759 3rd Street. And I believe in the government that governs the least governs the best. I believe in fiscal responsibility. And that's why I want to be on the town council.
Ms. Edwards, would you like to start us out again?
Sure. Why do you want to sit on town council and what qualities do you have to contribute to the council?
I want to be on the town council to ensure that the citizens of Evansville receive the essential services that they need. And by essential services, I mean the streets need to be plowed, maintained, streetlights need to be maintained, fire department, police, water, sewage. That's what people want. That's what people expect. And as far as my qualities, I believe honesty and integrity. I believe in the government should be transparent. And I believe that in fiscal responsibility, especially in these times, because I think things are getting kind of tough now.
What does being on council mean to you? Describe in detail.
Well, it means being a representative of the people, being able to listen to them, listen to their concerns, and just caring about the community and just making sure that things are run correctly.
What are your individual goals for council? Do you have a direction you'd like to see the town move in?
No, not really. I don't have any goals. Other, like I said, I think that the town government needs to do what it's supposed to do, which again is to provide those essential services and like I said, fiscal responsibility. I'm concerned about how things are spent. I want to make sure that money isn't wasted, that it's spent on what it needs to be, and not spent frivolous. What's the word? Frivolously.
Frivolous.
Frivolously.
Frivolous. Thank you.
Do you plan to run for council in the next election? Do you think you have any personal or professional relations that could be of a conflict of interest while serving as a council person?
I don't know. I will definitely run if I'm selected to be on the council. I don't know. And I will probably run. I'm not sure if I'm not selected. But I don't know. As far as I work for a construction company, so I don't know if I was on the council if they could bid, if that would preclude them from bidding on projects. I don't know. I just work there, so that might be a conflict. I don't know. I just have to tell them they can't, that I'm on the town council, I guess. Yeah.
Me?
Mhm.
Oh. Define what working as a team member means to you.
That means working together, being cohesive. But also, putting in input, making my voice, my opinions heard for whatever they're worth. And not just my opinions, but opinions of the people.
Describe your involvement with town council in the last year.
I haven't had a lot of involvement. I've done some of the meetings. I always pick up the notes and reread the notes of the town council. Usually have one at the post office. I'll get some more things. I've been doing that for years.
What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated issues?
Yeah, I think you need to listen to both sides. But I'm not scared of controversy. Nothing needs to be dealt with. The issue. You can't shy away from
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you would like the community to know about you in consideration for being selected for town council?
Not really anything other than I've said. I just believe in conservative government.
I think that's it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Ron Wales.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ronald Wales. I do live here in our town, Evansville, and it's up there, the trailer park. Yeah, but that's not, the point is, I know how to run a family. I know how to run small organizations up to about 60. And I like to give it a shot of also coming back in the community that I moved into. I moved out of Mills. I spent 4 years on the council there. I just didn't re-up this particular last time. And I feel pretty good about when I travel around in this town, and I have. And I've also had a video store. I've had 2 construction companies, Landcare and Steel, down in Miami. I'm a Miami boy. And also in Gillette, we had a video store there, and also Dr. DeVos, who had Lakeway Plaza. I took care of that and managed that. I've had sudden incidents come up, and you have to get a result real quick. Like when we had the blackout with the moon, I was in charge out there, and what happened was there was no electricity. Something was going wrong. You got a call, you got to stay on them, stay on them, stay on them. And as far as my experiences, other things, we're going to go ahead and work on that river coming across the street from the town hall. I have been on that. But I've done a couple of projects, and I'd like to be back in. So if you have any questions for me, you're welcome to, and I'll do the best.
Why do you want to sit on town council, and what qualities do you have to contribute to the council?
One, I can stay home. That TV's all reruns. The second is I like to take my my baggage I have that I left Mills with for 4 years and bring it in and share it with y'all. I've been down at the Cheyenne. I've been there with the governors, back and forth with when we've had meetings down there, special meetings about twice a year sometimes.
What does being on council mean to you? Describe in detail.
One, I'm the beginning of Wales, and my family has grown. I am a great grandfather. The Wales name can go one way or it can go the other way. Whether you do your best or you do rotten, whatever someone doesn't see. Yes, I'm leaving a legend for my family, so they don't put their heads and look down on the ground, but maybe they go ahead and have it level and look around and say, oh, God bless us. And that's where it's at. They didn't have a mother. My sons didn't have a mother, but they all have a high school education. Matter of fact, they even have a 2-year degree. I've been to 3 colleges. I've been to, well, let's see, let's go back. United Steel. Let's go back to Miami Junior, Dade Junior College up on 120th Street. Pre-criminal justice was one of them. Pre-med was the other. And I wanted to be a law scrub nurse. I'm not married. I sit in at home, and I'll tell you, the walls after a while go like, can you hear me now? So,
What are your individual goals for council? Do you have a direction you would like to see the town move in?
oh yes, I do. It's always north and west, but there's nothing west. You gotta have a hiccup there, so you try to do what you got in the east, and also work with the county and see what there is. Listen to what is available and what direction we can win, and with what product, what industry that needs to come in. What will be the advantage, not just for my pocket, which isn't, but how about for the town's pocket? Taxes is our priority. How do we bring it in? How do we get that money?
Thank you.
Do you plan to run for council in the next election? Do you think you have any personal or professional relations that could become a conflict of interest while serving as a council member?
I plan to go ahead and run for councilman. And no, I don't have anything other than, let me see. Now I'm doing strange things in my yard. If you pull into Aspen Park, the first trailer you see is me, mine. So I'm working on it, and folks are driving by wondering what's going on. I'm on my hands and knees. My left hand, until I get surgery, doesn't close all the way. So I, beautify this place. When we have picnics, make sure that everything is done, and take the lowest job that you have, because if you can't do the lowest, you have no right to have anything else. So I don't mind whether it's clean toilets, which I'm done. Doesn't matter what it is.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Define what working as a team means to you.
Let me get that one more time now.
Define what working as a team means to you.
Equal input. Let all directions, all speeches come out and be clarified. And don't sit there with a head that comes 10 feet off your shoulders and think that you've got an ego there and it's my way or the highway. Without teamwork, you're not going to grow. You will not grow, you will lose. Well, I'll tell you what you'll lose. You'll lose all your good employees.
Describe your involvement with the town council in the last year.
Last year, the town council has allowed the firefighters to go out and collect at the stoplights. I've been nailed a couple times. You're looking to see what in our water department's going on. Everything. And if I missed that line, please readdress me and I'll.
What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated issues?
One, don't reprimand somebody in public. Try to break that up without having the police come in. And if you do, you try to give them time out. Time out generally works. Give me 10 minutes. I'll be back. And the other thing is take them in a separate and listen to both sides, see what really happened. And that is bringing the third person in.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want the community to know about you in consideration of being selected for town council?
Not just going to do my job. I've been a millionaire once. I also got a divorce, so. May the Lord Jesus.
I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And our last applicant of the evening, Laura Angelo.
Hello, members of the council. My name is Laura Angelo. I live at 795 Whipsaw. I've been a resident of Evansville for 5 years, Casper 20 years before then. I am a CPA with Atlas firm in Casper and also a certified financial planner. And
Why do you want to sit on town council and what qualities do you have to contribute to the council?
so I think when you're a part of a community, you have, you need to be committed to build that community and put your time into moving the community forward. So there's a lot that is happening for this town going forward. And my skill set with understanding financials, understanding how long-term planning for budgeting can impact things could come in handy for a new building. We've got also the new park that is going to have expenses that are covered, which is great through a grant, but how those actually play out, making sure that the planned expenses meet up with the end result. So think some of my skill sets can benefit in that area.
What does being on council mean to you? Describe in detail.
So I think the community looks to the council to lead in the right direction. And a lot of times people have different ideas about where that direction should go. But to trust each other to try to analyze everything as much as possible and bring everybody's strengths together to pick the best possible direction forward is what working on a council means to me. And also representing the wonderful neighbors that we have that all are very vested in seeing this town do well.
What are your individual goals for council? Do you have a direction you'd like to see the town move in?
I think one of the reasons that Evansville is very dear to me is because it has a small town feel to it. And so as far as long-term direction, I would want to make sure that when we think about growth, it's not just growth for growth's sake, because there is a reason why this is a special town. And so to balance the need for growth with also understanding what Evansville is right now.
Thank you.
Do you plan to run for council in the next election? Do you think you have any personal or professional relations that could be a conflict of interest while serving as a council person?
So I would plan to run. And as far as conflicts, potentially that could be clients. I work with a lot of small businesses. So there is potential that on any situation, construction company or whatever it might be, that I would need to recuse from any decisions on that. But, yeah, that's probably the only true conflict.
Thank you.
Define what define what working as a team member means to you. Sorry.
I've heard it a few times, so. I really think that when you're on a team, it's important to do the work ahead of time to understand whether it's reading detail about what decisions are being made or even doing research so that when you show up, you are prepared to talk with your other team members and it's not the first time you've seen something. So, I also think it's important that you explain what your opinion is and why, but that once a decision by the group is made, that you go forward and support the group. So it's not always easy to do, but that's part of being on a team.
Describe what your involvement has been with the town council in the last year.
So certainly read all of the minutes of the meetings and not necessarily the town council, but I guess some planning meetings that for the park and what the community would like to see for Evansville.
What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated issues?
So I think a lot of times our society tends to, we want, the media, quick taglines, we read the headlines, we don't really get the details and people form opinions before they have all of the information. So my approach would be to try to explain more in detail what might be behind a decision or behind whatever is bringing up the controversy to see if maybe a little more understanding helps people to see why it's happening.
Last question. And I just happened to notice that the mayor gave me all the longest questions. Is there anything else you would want the community to know about you in consideration for being selected to the town council?
I guess personally, I tend to, once I've committed to something, I'm 100% there. And I like some of the ideas that were mentioned as far as the new park and, you know, potentially something that brings the community together, whether that's obviously kids playing, but if we could have, dream big, a small concert venue where we could have music playing, that would be great too, so. I think that's probably,
That's it.
yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will now move into executive session.
I'd like to move to executive session.
I'll second that.
All
And
those
I'll
in favor?
vote aye.
Aye, okay. Thank you, Janelle. 8:22 PM.